Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother.
Welcome back to Identical Opposites. Today is April 15th. Timothy, I know it's been a minute since we got back, but today we're not going to talk about any of the football we missed. It's going to be a lot of fight-centric talk. It's a big, big week for. It's kind of weird that it's a big week, fight week feel for.
Not for me.
I don't know, man. It's kind of. It seems like it's gotten the attention of a lot of people. You look at the views. I'm talking about Ben Askren versus Jake Paul. Everybody. Yeah. That's why we're all so surprised. Like in a boxing match, Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, and it looks like it's gonna do over 1 million buys, dude.
I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna stream
we're gonna legally stream it, but I'm just saying what it's gonna do.
That's not like I'll pay for a Conor fight or I'll pay for big fights. The ones that aren't huge, I'll just stream. This one isn't like nowhere near close to buy range. Like nowhere near the zone it needs to be in my fucking scale to be a buy. If anybody buys this, dude, that's a joke.
Dude, don't admit to being streaming anything, dude, because I was gonna say the only reason I'm so openly admitting I'm streaming is because Dana White's not a part of this. Because the way Dana White talks, I'm afraid if I say I stream, you know, on like a little podcast like this, that I'm gonna like as soon as I boot that up and the main event starts, some FBI guys are gonna bust in through my window. I'm gonna get hit over the head with one of those fucking big ass baton looking things they have. And Dana White's like FaceTiming one of them.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, we're watching his house" when he's talking about catching a streamer a few months ago. Like, oh, you guys are just staking out outside his house for a fucking week.
And he's like talking about illegally tapping some guy's phone and all that. He really, what he called it, indicted himself.
Like, didn't he say like we got him or something? Like, oh yeah, we got him after the pay-per-view.
No, he said he didn't stream that night.
Oh.
Like they scared him, they tough guyed him to not streaming anymore. And then somebody brought up the last pay-per-view press conference, but the pre-fight press conference, and he's like, "Oh, that guy doesn't stream anymore."
Did like, anybody know who it was?
It's not a real guy, dude.
It was figurative.
Yeah.
Or he was just trying to scare people into thinking there was a guy, and he's like, "You're next."
It's the guy that ran crack streams probably or something.
Yeah, well, it didn't work. There was a bunch of streams on the last one.
Dude.
The last pay-per-view.
Dude, if we gotta edit that out. That's crazy.
No, I don't.
Let's get back
we're watching the stream. We're not streaming it.
We're so off topic.
Well, anyway.
Speaking of Dana White, Ben Askren, it was with Freddie Roach for a week because Dana White hooked them up together, and
Dana put $1 million on the fight for Ben Askren.
Yeah, and then Snoop said, "Do $2 million, Dana. He's gonna put it on Jake." And Snoop didn't even sound like he was like he did it because he's confident in Jake Paul. He did it because he said. He's like, I can't be a bitch and somebody throws out $1 million. I'm just not gonna bet nothing. Like, he's like, I'll put up 2, and that's what he did.
They both can do it. It's probably like $20 each.
Yes, I remember there was an interview Ben was doing, and they were like, "You're not gonna feel bad when you lose Dana." I think it was on Logan Paul's show, and he was like, "You're not gonna feel bad when you lose Dana White $1 million." And Ben's like, "He's got plenty of millions. I don't think he's worried about $1 million," and it's so true.
Yeah, who do you think's gonna win?
I was saying this whole time that I just don't think Jake Paul, he hasn't fought anybody. He hasn't fought through adversity. I don't believe in his gas tank, even though there's no reason.
There's no reason not to believe.
I know, but like he's never done it, and Ben's definitely not going away early. I don't think, and he's definitely gonna smother him. And I don't think he can handle up to that. But I don't know when people talk about him sparring, they say he looks good, Jake Paul. I've like been like, oh, maybe they're not all bullshitting, but then I heard him in a pre-fight thing today. He was like talking about like a pre-fight video. He's like, I never lost a round of sparring. So that makes me think he's not sparring anybody that good, like he's talking about. If he's saying he never lost a round, or is it ego, or
he's fought Nate Robinson and 2 YouTubers. Like Ben Askren's just a whole nother level. Even though he's a shitty striker for an MMA artist. He's been training now for 2-3 months, just boxing, on top of his years and years of MMA training.
Every video that came out, he looked like shit, and I was like, man, I'm starting to feel confident as Ben Askren.
But I knew it was not.
Dude, did you see the open workout?
Yeah,
he
I
did.
mean-
He looked pretty good. I know it's just mitts, but he looked pretty. He had some pop to his punches. He was putting them together nicely. He had some speed.
I'm definitely would pick Askren. Just I think he's gonna be dirty and grapple a lot. But like if you watch Logan Paul's fight against fucking Nate Robinson, he was just overhand right centric. Obviously,
He loads up a lot.
He loads up on a right hand, either like a straight or an overhand. Watch that shit. He
But
did this 1-2 or just an overhand.
But you got to admit though, he's good at letting the fight come to him, and he works behind a good jab. But the problem is when he does like do combos, he does load up a lot. And thing is, I don't think his anxiety's been peaked like it will in this fight when he realizes he's in there with somebody that knows how to fight. Like,
Well, he knows the build up and all the people watching that this is his first real fight. He's gonna be nervous. To a
when
degree.
Nate Robinson came out in some fucking Jordans and not any boxing shoes, I think we all knew that he wasn't fucking.
Well, I knew he was gonna lose from the get go. I never believed he was gonna win that fight.
I told you that week. I didn't even know that fight was happening until the week it happened. I said I watched Nate Robinson doing like a video post of him training. I told you he's gonna get knocked the fuck out because he had no clue what he was doing, and his head was straight up in the air, and I don't know, man. He just didn't look comfortable even in like training videos.
I think Ben Askren's gonna do a good job. He'll probably lose a couple rounds, maybe. I mean, if you look at the athletic ability, even though Jake was an actual pro fighter, or Ben was the actual pro fighter, and Jake has the better like physique and athletic ability. You could tell that right away.
Jake's got the power, speed, and technique advantage, but I don't think it's gonna.
Experience matters.
Yeah, I just don't think it's.
Even though Ben's not a boxer.
But here's the thing.
He's been in fights.
I'm saying all this in Ben's corner, but the closer we get to the fight, the less confident I am. I'm like,
oh yeah,
if you like 60-40 right now.
If you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't pick Ben Askren. But if
last night you said you would. Last night you said you would. What the hell?
No, I didn't. I said I would not. I was like, I think Ben Askren.
You said gun to your head.
I said I wouldn't. That was this morning, and I said I wouldn't. I remember that. Dude, you put a gun to my head, I'd be like, I don't fucking know. And if they were like, you have to choose,
we already
I
knew
would go
you.
Ben Askren.
We already did the poll. Like, you're the biggest liar on the podcast.
I'm not
You're
a
just
liar.
adding
I'm not
to
a
your
liar.
argument. He definitely said Ben Askren if there was a gun.
You're a
to his
fucking
head.
liar.
All right, here we go.
You were so confident Ben Askren a month ago. Now you're like, oh my god, he might lose.
Let's put it up to a poll. Who do they think's gonna win, Jake Paul or Ben Askren?
It's gonna be Ben Askren, but don't shoot me because I don't know. But there's no stakes.
You're lucky there's no gun to your head because you lied.
I didn't lie. I told the truth, and the truth is, I'm leaning Ben Askren, but I don't fucking know. I can see Jake Paul
I
winning.
really hope he wins, dude. I hate Jake Paul so much.
I really hope he wins, just so the boxing guys don't talk shit to the MMA guys.
I know everyone's supposed to hate the Paul brothers, but Logan Paul's not that bad anymore. He just had that one mistake in Japan.
He's not that bad. No.
He's still cringy at times, but he's not bad.
I was watching some of his impulsive stuff, his YouTube/podcast thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are a bunch of yes men around him. They're like,
Dude, for sure.
every time I'm like, yeah, bro, I know. And they were like, I'll give him a chance against Floyd or whatever.
The only thing I've ever watched from the Impulsives, every time you said, right?
Yeah.
It was the Ben Askren interview, and the dude, I don't know what the dude's name, the main sidekick next to him, he wanted to bring up to Ben him getting knocked out by Masvidal, and I think it was like, and like Logan was saying like, no, wait, let's not, I want to stay on this. They were talking about something else.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sat there for a second. He's like, all right. And then he asked Ben, he's like, your career end, or he's like, you know where I'm from? I started on Vine, 6 second video. He's like, yeah, I heard that. And Logan's like, yeah, so basically your career ended in 6 seconds. Mine began in 6 seconds. And like all that joke, and it's a good joke, even Ben, but like, I feel like that was the other guy was gonna say that, and they had that joke pre-planned, and maybe that guy came up with it, and Logan just took the shine. And the guy didn't. I don't even feel like the guy got upset. I remember he was like, "Ha!" Like it's all a bunch of fake laughing,
pumping up his friend laugh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Other than that, he's all right. He seems pretty humble. Outside of Floyd Mayweather.
Dude, like, is that really gonna happen? Logan
No,
versus
it's supposed to happen
Floyd?
in February.
But I heard him on that when he was talking to Ben Askren saying it's gonna happen now.
They're basically
In May
the
or
rumors were
something.
it got canceled or it got postponed because there wasn't a fan interest.
And who's gonna want to watch that? It's
Exactly.
fucking Floyd Mayweather.
And they're both saying, and Floyd and Logan both said that's not the reason, but they haven't really given a valid reason why that's not the case. So I don't think it's because they're not going to generate enough fan interest.
Who's
Nobody
gonna
wants
want to watch one of the best boxers of all time fight a guy that's 0-1-1 versus fucking KSI? Does anybody want to see that?
No.
Because at least in Jake
I'll
Paul
stream
versus,
it though.
I wouldn't even stream it because I know what's gonna happen.
Dude, when he fought the little kickboxer in Japan from Ryzen a few years ago, Floyd, I streamed that and I knew exactly what was going to happen.
That wasn't an MMA fight. That was
Well,
boxing.
he fought the kickboxer, but
Yeah, no kicking. No.
he was basically boxing.
He was
exhibition.
boxing without gloves, or small
No.
gloves.
I think they had normal size gloves, like 10 ounces.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Maybe, I don't know. It's either 8 or 10, I think.
Well, regardless, I wouldn't watch Floyd versus fucking Logan because I know what's gonna happen. The only reason this is somewhat interesting is Ben Askren might lose. Like, it's possible he loses.
You know what's
if not
crazy?
50-50.
I was looking up like Jake Paul future odds just to see like him against like other people, what his odds would be. He's like a -1. He's like a slight favorite in this fight. What do you think his odds were against Conor McGregor? Like, I only have the range, but I remember what it was. I'll give you like Conor's minus.
To me, Connor's probably like, if it's bad, you want me to give me what I think
I didn't
it
tell
should
you what it
be?
is, but just tell me what you think it is.
I would think it was like Connor minus like 1,500 and Jake Paul plus like 1,000.
See, in my mind, that's even generous. I would have thought it was like Conor minus.
I was being
5,000.
generous with that. Yeah.
He was like -600.
That's it?
Yeah, it like wasn't that far apart.
Oh my God. These people, like, he's fought Nate Robinson was like his toughest fight, dude.
It's crazy, bro. But it's crazy to see what the Conor and Floyd odds were. They were kind of close. Conor was like his closest odds in like his last like 5 opponents outside of like Manny.
Like, what was the odds for that?
I don't remember, but they weren't crazy. But I think it's mainly because people were betting on Conor, so that drives the line more or less what they think. But the Conor and Jake Paul thing hasn't even happened yet, so the money hasn't been able to draw which way that's going, and it's that close right now.
Minus 600? I'd take that. I'd bet a lot on that.
I bet every cent in my bank account annual, or I'd steal it. But all right, let's. So we're both going Ben.
Yeah.
Uncomfortably going Ben.
Uncomfortably, not for sure. Ben Askren.
Quaking in me boots. All right, speaking of Conor, let's move on to the Conor Dustin beef on Twitter. And as here's the thing. It's a terrible thing that a charity like the Good Fight Foundation is what's starting this beef, and like Conor pledging so much money and it hasn't gone in. Well, I could see both sides.
Yeah.
Even though I'd lean more on Dustin's.
I'm leaning more on
I was
Conor.
kind of happy to see it because I want to see bad blood in a Conor fight because that's when I think he's at his best.
It was just, when I saw that, I was
Outside
like, why are you
tribute.
bringing that shit public? That's kind of like a scummy move trying to like ruin his character.
Exactly.
But you said you agree with him slightly.
I agree with him that like Conor never said he's gonna do this, and this. He's like, I'm gonna give you $500,000.
He never said, I'll just give it to you whenever you want.
Okay, come on.
He's
dude.
done enough generous shit. You would have to expect
and
him to
he
do
also
it.
it's not also that he didn't give him the money. He's also that he said that they emailed his team.
You know how
and they
many
haven't
emails
responded.
they probably get that are
come on,
spam and
dude.
shit, and it probably got lost.
Tell me, I'm as much of a Conor nut hugger as you. You can't.
You don't bring it public.
I understand. And Dustin pussyfooted his way with an apology. I was just hoping they both stood their ground, but Conor eventually gave the money.
Conor he did give the money.
Well, I'm saying eventually. I'm saying I
Oh.
hope he does. Like,
I mean,
but
I believe
neither
he
of them
will.
apologize or nothing.
For a lot of the stupid shit he's done in the past, he's been very generous with donations and shit the last couple of years. I think he'll do it.
Remember when Conor posted that picture and was like, "No more Mr. Nice Guy"? Now everyone's talking like it's really more Mr. Nice Guy. Even when he posted, everyone was like freaking out about it. Like, oh, dude, the old Conor's coming back. But I didn't quite believe it because we hadn't seen it yet. But this makes me believe because he's talking about paying for it with his brains. He's going back to calling him what he called him back in 2014, inbred hillbilly. Even though he doesn't really look like that anymore. He kind of looks like a GQ model.
I just like, Conor should have donated the money by now, but Dustin was being a little bitch trying to ruin his public image by just bringing that shit public for no reason.
What
It's
I
a
think
good
it,
prediction.
What I think it was, I think Dustin was holding it in for a little bit, and he saw that Conor
Said he's gonna knock him out around
exactly
4.
like he knows that Conor wants to knock him out but when he sees like an action running like and he took it personally, he's like, oh, he's talking about me. He's like talking about knocking me out.
He just knocked
All
him
right,
out.
that's
Why is
the
he gonna
last
take
straw.
it personally?
I don't know.
What do you have to
but-
prove? You just did it. Just do it again.
But then I also thought it was funny in Dustin's apology. He's talking about how their next big plans they're about to announce are so big. I'm like, huh. It's funny that they say that they have big plans for the foundation right after Conor's like, he needs plans for the money.
But well, speaking of the fight, I think it's official today. Like it became official.
Apparently, everyone was like a week ago were saying it was signed, and now
They both announced it was signed, but like it wasn't like by the UFC yet.
yeah. But then
And it's in Vegas now.
but if they both signed, then it was official. But then it said, was it yesterday when they officially announced it? That Conor, like they announced like Conor officially signed. Like I thought you guys announced they both signed a week ago. Because it was reported like 2 weeks ago Dustin signed.
Yeah, but this is like official, like with like the place, which we all knew was Las Vegas, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's Las Vegas full capacity. It's like 20,000 or
Yeah.
whatever.
But I think it's just like official. Like they announced it was signed, but now it's like the fight's now official. Like they booked it and all that. That's probably what it is.
Even though I'm picking Conor, and I give that some, like my bias in the third fight, and I know, man, it's just crazy to me that he's the favorite in a fight that he just lost by knockout in the second round.
Yeah, like if he goes back to his old style that we saw against, well, Eddie.
But even that style was susceptible to leg kicks. It just people got overwhelmed.
well, he's got it either way. But like he just shocks people with that left hand when he's so much better when he's in that other style fighting, which is that karate in and out movement.
He
snipes
He
people
looked a
with
little too
power.
cautious in the first round.
I don't know. He was kind of aggressive until the last
Dude,
couple minutes.
even Poirier said he was hurt, and if he would have pushed me, I would have been in trouble. But he didn't
I don't think he was.
press me.
I don't think he was.
Poirier said he would have been in trouble if Conor pressed him.
Because I don't think he was as aggressive because like it. I think he respected Dustin more in that second because you look at like he gave no fighter respect before that. Like you saw
Cowboy.
Nate, he wasn't as
Cowboy.
aggressive either. He dropped him multiple
Oh,
times.
you're talking about in the octagon.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Conor came right across, and he just got dumped on his butt like 20 seconds in.
That Cowboy, he was aggressive because I think he felt
Yeah,
really
I mean,
confident.
I think he definitely respected Poirier way more than Cowboy. But.
So I think, and he knew Poirier, if you push into hard, he can fucking counter you good.
Mm-hmm.
He's got really good boxing and he's very powerful.
I remember saying right after that first round, even though Conor won the first round, I was like, I don't feel confident because he got caught with some check hooks that he usually never gets caught with. Like he was like taking pictures or whatever they call it. Like
And then Dustin started going over that left hand, and you saw when he pointed at him, like that. When that happened, I was like, "Oh no, this is not good." Because he started figuring out counter,
And he already landed a few of them calf kicks.
and Conor, his best punch is that counter straight left, right down the fucking pipe. That's what he's knocked out Chad with. Didn't he knock out Dustin with that the first fight?
What?
A straight left hand.
It was kind of like a left hook that hit him like
Oh,
behind, top of the head, behind the ear, kind of.
Well, he dropped Eddie like 4 times with his fucking
Eddie
left straight.
Eddie was like a 4-punch combo. It was like
But
blah, blah,
he
blah,
got dropped like 2 or 3 times by to the left straight. in the
Conor
first
posted a
or
video
second.
proving it was really like 5 knockdowns, but then they called it 3.
Like that's what everybody says is his best shot. Is that
but
counter straight left.
Poirier, I mean, I always knew he was elite, but I always thought his defense wasn't great because the Hooker fight. He's always been hit a lot, but that Hooker fight, he got hit clean a lot, and he got hurt multiple times in the first couple rounds.
Ago.
And I remember watching it live, thinking that second round was one of the best rounds I've ever seen in my life. But
I had a 2-0 Hooker, and then Dustin winning the last 3.
Yep, that's exactly how I had it. But so I saw how much Hooker was able to land clean. I'm like, Connor's him, Izzy, like Anderson Silva, the best snipers in like UFC history. So I was like, Connor's gonna be able to find the chin, and he did. But Dustin's fucking chin is so much better. Like, I'm just shocked he never got wobbled that bad or hurt too bad.
I didn't know
outside the one time that he kind of hid really well.
When I rewatched the fight,
Hooker,
I saw
he got hurt multiple times.
Yeah, Hooker, he wobbled like a bunch, especially in I think the 4th and 5th rounds a lot.
No, I'm talking about Poirier. He got wobbled like.
In the second round, especially the second, he was getting his ass beat in the second.
At the end of the second, he was like, I thought he was like out on his feet, but then he got up right as a bell and he put like stuck his tongue out. I was like, oh, I guess he wasn't as hurt as I thought he was.
No, but against with Conor, like you in that fight, I was gonna wonder if he could withstand the pressure Poirier can put on you. Because when he senses you're hurt, watch that Gaethje fight. I saw the clip today on fucking Twitter from the UFC. He was pouring it on. That's what happened with Conor when he got hurt. He was against the cage, rocked, and Dustin gave him no way to get out.
You know when you're in trouble against Poirier is when he does that little walk, run, shuffle. Like when he comes after you. Like that's his signature.
Dude, he puts that Nate and Nick Diaz pressure on you if you get wobbled or hurt.
Then hooks just start coming out of nowhere.
Dude, like it's the scariest shit I've ever seen in MMA, bro. All right.
We just saw
for a lightweight.
We just saw Ngannou take the UFC GOAT heavyweight and put him out cold and like fall over on his knee. That was just oh my gosh. He looked like a dead body got punched. The second punch from Ngannou after. I'll put that in a poll. It's kind of obvious. Everyone's gonna say he looked like a dead body.
Yeah, it's been a month now.
Has it been that? It's like 2-3 weeks.
3 weeks, I think, to this Saturday.
Yeah, it was 3 weeks because it'd be 3 weeks Saturday because they took a week off after that, and then the first fight back was Vettori versus Holland last week.
Which, speaking about Holland, his wrestling is dog shit. He just let Vettori just wrap around him, get his hands clasped behind, just ragdoll him wherever he wanted.
And what Vettori did, he did the same thing over and over again. He would get deep in, wrap his hands, and he'd always take the angle to the left and turn right with him. And Holland, it was the same turn angle every time, but Holland, you could tell he just doesn't know how to work angles on his defense and all that. And at chaining stuff together, he's very like one position at a time mindset, in my opinion. But he said him and DC are talking about DC's gonna help coach him for a little bit, and that's like as good as you can get. Like when you just like he just seems he's too content to be on his back and not getting hurt. For someone like we're talking about Woodley, he lost 3 fights in a row where he didn't win a round before the Luque fight. Holland lost 2 fights in a row and he didn't win a round.
Yeah.
I still, though, see all the talent in the world. I could see him being a problem against elite folks. That stand-ups, it's so unorthodox and crazy strikes, but he finds the chin every time. And he doesn't get hit clean too often.
No. Like, he's won the stand. He was winning the stand-up whenever it was on the feet with Vettori.
I think he hurt Vettori. Not hurt him, but like...
in the 4th, or beginning of the 5th, I think.
Beginning of the 5th, I think it was like the 4th, beginning of the 4th.
I think it was either the beginning of the 4th or beginning of the 5th. He hurt him. Like, he went backwards.
He caught his attention, and right after that, Vettori, like, usually he would return even when he got hit clean.
Because he's a high-volume
But right
striker.
after that, he shot for a takedown without him returning. Like, he didn't even think. He just shot in after he just took a step back, shot in.
But yeah, if Holland can work on his wrestling and his ground game and jiu-jitsu, like
his jiu-jitsu is pretty good. He's already a black belt under Travis Lutter, and Travis Lutter is a beast jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah. Well, whatever, his wrestling.
And his get-ups and all that.
Yeah, and his transition works. He just seems too content to just stay on his back. Like, maybe he doesn't want to work.
You were right. It was like MMA jiu-jitsu. Because I think he's more of like a traditional jiu-jitsu black belt.
Like, if you're just doing jiu-jitsu, that he's probably good at that. But with MMA, he's just getting mounted easily. Vettori mounted him fucking, 4 times?
Mm-hmm. And Vittori's also very good on the ground. He's got more submissions than Jack Hermanson.
If you're a black belt, though, you would expect more from him, right?
I think Vittori's a black belt.
No, I'm talking about Holland. You said he's a black belt.
Yeah, he is, but I'm just saying.
You would expect more to somebody that's going to fight as a dog goes off in the background.
Mm.
But
that's our new dog, Ted, by the way. He's wanting to make his voice present on the podcast.
But
he's a big Kevin Holland fan. Sorry about that.
But speaking of the UFC, who do you think wins in the main event of this weekend's fight night? Gastelum, Whittaker.
Dude, we were all talking about like these 3 main events that was supposed to happen. What was it? Holland Brunson, Vettori Till, and Whittaker Costa. It was gonna be like a middleweight tournament. Whoever looked the best was gonna be whoever's fighting Izzy.
Yeah.
And Brunson Holland. Brunson dominated, but he
wasn't impressive.
He
enough to get a title fight.
He didn't cement the title shot with that win.
He just took him down and just held him there for 25
But then
minutes.
Vettori does the same, and then what was it? Till pulls out, and Vettori does the same exact thing to Holland.
Yeah, but it was more vicious.
Yeah, but I don't think he cemented a title shot with him.
No.
But people were like saying Brunson should get the title shot when people were shitting on Vettori not being able to get it, and I was like, Vettori just did the same thing Brunson did 2 weeks ago that you guys shit on Brunson for. And then now Costa Whittaker, I felt was a true fight, even though I don't think
I thought that was gonna be number one, or if Brunson maybe fought Costa after that.
It's like 2 duds, and now we're on this. It's Whittaker Gastelum, still a great fight, but now it's like if Gastelum wins, can you really defend a title shot when he's lost? He would have been lost 3 of 5.
No, I don't think he's for a title shot right now.
But
he's got to get 2 wins.
But then
he's
fighting Robert Whittaker, who's literally beat everyone but Izzy, and he looks so good.
I understand, but it's not linear. Like I always said, like you say that too. But it's like matchups make fights, and he could win this matchup, but that doesn't mean he's the best.
He gave Izzy the best run, him or Vettori.
All right, but you can't. A guy that's lost so much, you can't give him a shot. He's probably got to win 2 fights in a row. He'll probably fight.
If he wins this, it's 2 fights in a row.
I mean, like 2 more.
No, I don't think he got to get 4. I mean,
he lost 3.
Dude, if he beats Whittaker, it's a number 1 clear contender.
What was his last fight? I forget who it was.
He beat Ian Heinisch.
Yeah, Ian.
He didn't really blow Ian Heinisch out of the water.
That sounds like it was 29-28, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ian Heinisch, like he's barely
Ian Heinisch is all right.
He's what, like good? 13, 14?
He dominated the wrestling, and then Ian Heinisch is a good wrestler. He's got pretty good stand-up, Ian Heinisch. It's no...
But I wouldn't think a win over him and then getting an upset win over Whittaker would be that, like, okay, he's got to get a title shot now. I think he'd have to fight, like, Costa or, like, maybe Brunson after that, or now Vettori.
I'd like to see Costa versus Vettori.
I don't know who wins that fight. After what I saw from Costa last time.
I think Costa, I don't know, because they're both pressure fighters, but Costa, I feel like he makes it up more, and Vettori gets hit clean more than Costa. I don't know, they both get hit clean.
The middleweight division is just such a fucking mess now. That Costa pulled out and Kevin Holland, honestly, and Till pulled out. Like, it just made the whole fucking thing a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you had 2 clear, like I think the UFC, wanted Holland to win. Because if it would be Brunson, then people are like, oh, he should probably get a title shot, or he's 1 win away. And then they could have had the winner fight.
Well, he definitely wanted Holland because he was getting a lot of heat before the Brunson fight. And everybody hates him now for what they liked about him, the talking. They all hate him for talking too much against Brunson. And then after the Vettori fight, everyone's, he should go back to talking. That was him. Like,
I know, it's stupid. Because I don't listen to it. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. It was working before, don't stop. He had 1 bad fight. But, like, you got to give him props.
But he did look way better against Vettori.
He did, but, I mean, he still got fucking dominated.
He actually worked to try and get up. The other one, he kind of just accepted the bottom.
But, you have to give him props for fighting, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks since his last fight where he just got dominated for 5 rounds. And then you're fighting a guy, and you're fighting a guy that we all knew was probably going to try to wrestle you just like we just saw. Like, you have to give him his props for that. Like, I don't think negatively of Kevin Holland.
I don't think Vettori necessarily, if it was somebody that had good or decent takedown defense, would have been shooting as much as he did on Holland. But like, I think he knew,
That's what everybody saw what happened last fight, and Vettori, he is a solid wrestler.
And he's good.
Like, I felt like he was gonna probably wrestle.
Look at him against Hermanson. Hermanson's a beast on the ground. He pretty much won the ground on that. Like, he was on top, landed. He had good reversals. He had good scrambles. He looked really good against Hermanson. But I think if Gastelum wins, it's probably going to be Vettori. If Whittaker wins, I feel like UFC doesn't want to do it because Izzy doesn't want to do it. I don't know if UFC's against it. I think Izzy doesn't want
is, but like, come on. Like, other than the 2, like, can't you?
Every
it's
other
hard
fight
to say
he's
that.
Gonna get a rematch.
It was competitive, except he got caught real bad twice.
He got knocked out twice, basically.
Yeah, he got knocked out, but the in-between parts were competitive.
I thought he was winning the first round.
So did I, until he got dropped. I was like,
But it was
I remember
really close.
I was watching that fight live, and I was like, I think he was winning this until the last 5 seconds.
But the thing was, even watching it though, you felt like
Izzy
Adesanya was
him.
gonna catch him
Because he wasn't doing anything significant.
Because
Whittaker.
everything big Whittaker threw missed, and Adesanya like saw it coming. But when Adesanya threw something big to the very end of the first round, it became like counters. It came like whiskers away from hitting Whittaker.
I think
Whittaker just had better volume. Nobody landed too big of a shot before the first knockdown.
The problem with Whittaker was he just kept coming in and it burst. He just kept running and throwing fucking 2 to 3 piece combos.
Head down.
Yeah, like usually he's aggressive, but he's not running in at you in bursts every like 20 seconds. Like he was just like looked like he was trying too hard to like get him on the back foot and get him scared of his.
Against Cannonier, he looked better than ever. So if he has another great performance against Gastelum, you can't deny him.
Yeah, I think everybody's picking Whittaker. I'm picking Whittaker. I'm gonna go.
I am, but I'm not ruling out Gastelum.
No, Gastelum's got enough boxing and enough power.
Boxing.
That's what I'm saying. He's a good boxer, and we saw him hurt Izzy bad multiple times. I think we're gonna see a competitive fight for like the first couple rounds, but I think once like we see Whittaker doing more damage and be the more active fighter and physically ready, because he's got a better gas tank than Gastelum.
I think it's gonna be a lot like Cannonier versus Whittaker. Not so much in like exactly like the technical aspect of it, but like how it goes. I just think they're both going to land good shots, but Whittaker's going to land way more, and it's going to be hard for Gastelum to get inside because of how dangerous Whittaker is. Yep. It's crazy that straight head kick combo he throws, everyone knows it's coming, but he lands it on everyone except Izzy.
Whenever I use him in UFC 4, it's my favorite thing to throw with him is that 1-2 left high kick or right high kick.
So we're both going Whittaker?
Yeah, I'm going to go decision, but I could see it being a knockout either way other than that.
I'm going to go decision.
Probably like 49-46.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
But
it
like
might be a clean sweep or a competitive clean. It's like Edgar versus Holloway. Remember that? Like had a 50-45 in it, but I was like, it was
Edgar had his
fight.
moments.
That's what me and you're telling you. It's like me. That's what me and you're talking about sometimes off mic. Remember we were talking about like everyone's too hung up on scores.
Like Joe Rogan when it was Colby versus Usman.
He was 3-1 Colby. Like it was such a close fight, and I was like, you can have a competitive 3-1.
I had 3-1 Colby, and I thought it was a close ass fight.
Like you can have 5 competitive rounds, but somebody wins all of them closely, but it's still a competitive fight. Like
2 was very close in that fight, Usman and Colby. 3 was definitely one way. 1 was definitely one way, but competitive. 4 was definitely Colby.
I think the best example was Edgar versus Holloway. Like
yeah,
that you
50-45, but like both fighters fought well.
That one you could argue in me 4-1 or 5-0, but one judge had a 48-47, 3-2, and I didn't see that. But all 5 rounds were pretty competitive, and it was a competitive fight. But you knew Holloway won. And I just hate this. Even though there's a lot of terrible scores out there, people are too hung up on what the score looks like at the end of the fight.
Yeah, because they see the number and act like it's a score of like a football game or basketball game.
In that one sense.
How could they win by that many points?
In that one sense, though, because there is plenty of times where it's like somebody clearly won 3-0, but they win like a majority decision or a split. Like you're mad about those scores, and obviously I'm with you.
No, but I'm talking about like when people see a score that's high and won like 50-45 in a competitive fight.
But you can argue that all 5 were like.
Yeah, but like you know what I'm saying? They're thinking about it like points. Like he won by that much. They're seeing it like a scoreboard, but it's different. You can be competitive rounds, but you could lose them all.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. This is a very fight-centric episode on a return back from a little hiatus. Timothy, anything you want to add?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. Peace.
Oh, no,